time to take your questions in the mailbag. Let's welcome in Abby Barmore. Very busy week for Abby Barmore. Not only wrapping up spring practice, she did a great depth chart breakdown for us on HuskerOnline this week after the spring game. But you got volleyball. Number one, Huskers are in Central City for their big scrimmage on Saturday, but also the tickets went on sale for the game in Memorial Stadium. That's going to be the largest volleyball crowd ever in the history of the sport. What can you share with us, Abby, on this weekend and then the future ticket sales?
Yeah, starting off with the ticket sales, they actually opened the south side because they had been selling so many tickets. So it's looking very good that they're going to absolutely crush that record, and no one's ever going to try to compete with it. And as for the exhibition match this weekend, it's against Wichita State at 2 o'clock. Nebraska has a lot going on. They have 6 new players that they're trying to bring in, and that's almost half of their roster. So those are going to be some girls you want to look at. And most importantly, Merritt Beeson, the transfer from Florida, she's going to be on that right side, and she's going to bring a lot to that team. And that setter battle, too, they have Kennedy Orr coming back, and then freshman Bergen Riley that is really going to push her and force her to be great, which she kind of struggled with last year. So there's a lot to watch this weekend.
Are you looking forward to going to Central City?
Oh, yeah. Big Central City fan. I have not been. It'll be an experience.
All right, I'll tell you, this is a random nugget about Central City.
Of course you know things about Central City.
They have the nicest Dairy Queen I've ever seen.
Noted.
Like a built from the ground, like stone. Like you go up there and you're just like, this is the Taj Mahal Dairy Queen.
Is that right?
Yeah, and
have you seen it recently?
Oh yeah,
really?
We got some friends that have a cabin up there, so we've gone up there. But Dan Jackson, our friend, he's now at Vanderbilt. He was recruiting a guy, and he's like, "I'm just sitting up here in Central City." And he goes, "I go, let me guess, you're at the Dairy Queen." He goes, "How'd you know?" I go, "That's about the best place to go in Central City."
Interesting.
I'll have to check it out.
Drive by the big Dairy Queen.
How does it compare to the Crete Dairy Queen? The Crete Dairy Queen's really nice.
Small towns in Nebraska, you don't mess with their Dairy Queens or their Pizza Huts.
Okay. God,
I just drove the Wahoo Pizza Hut. I drove through Wahoo last night, and it was hopping.
Serious pizza.
You would have thought it was 1987. I mean, this Pizza Hut was rolling.
God darn.
All right, let's get to the mailbag. What do you got?
All right, what players can make the biggest push in the summer?
Casey Thompson?
Well, that's when the push begins. I mean, June is big. I know I can tend to repeat myself. I'm old, and that's what we do when we get older. But the June, I can remember when Robin and I and Sean were doing the interviews last summer. It was almost like we were talking last summer, June, like we were talking to players in season, right? It almost felt like that they call it it's kind of unorganized, but it's really not unorganized.
Yeah, it's voluntary, quote unquote. But
yeah, even the players give you the quotes, voluntary.
It was like every day. Like they would show up to those things like exhausted because they'd already been up since 5 or 6 in the morning working out and doing all that stuff. So I mean, there's no off season. There's no sitting around going on dude trips or anything like that.
Push Gunnarsson, I think that's a guy. It's interesting that position got interesting because of Lenhart and Princewell. So what I mean, Gunnarsson's gonna have to fight now for time. All those guys are gonna have to fight for time. But Blaze Gunnarsson's an example, a guy that comes to mind. Who else?
Well, let's think about the guys that were out.
Marquise Buford.
Yeah, Buford, Robinson. Guys that haven't practiced
right
really at all.
Yeah.
That
thank God for Robinson.
Yeah, I know. He becomes significantly more important now.
Yeah.
AJ Allen.
Those receivers, AJ Allen.
Oh, AJ Allen's a great example. He needs to have a good summer.
There's some young receivers that are going to show up. They're going to have a big window of opportunity to make a statement.
Does AJ Allen want to battle? We know what this kid can do. Does he want to fight? Because we
saw a fight last year.
Right. It's a new staff, though.
That's true.
They're clean slate, and they like Gabe Irvin.
And he missed a big chunk of time this spring, so he's got some work to do.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
With Casey Thompson starting to throw, how do you see the quarterback competition going during the summer?
That will be interesting because Casey's not going to just back down.
Nope. He will not back down.
But it will make both those guys better.
Right.
It will.
The question is, can Casey do enough damage as a runner to present to that staff? Yeah, I can do this. That's probably the question, because Casey is a better thrower, but definitely a better downfield thrower.
Mm.
He is. I mean, I've heard about Sims this spring. I've seen Sims. He's a good thrower, but Casey's a better downfield thrower. So I don't know. Just it comes back to what exactly is the staff looking for?
Yeah, and the durability factor. Casey's got a long history of injuries now that he played through, but he's been banged up.
So so has the other guy. So is Sims.
Yeah,
he was banged up a lot at Georgia Tech. They've missed a lot of time.
So
both
that
of
in
them.
itself would be incentive for both those guys. I mean,
Absolutely.
Even if you don't win the starting job,
if you're going to run that position, no way they're getting through unscathed.
They need them both. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I think so.
If they can figure this out, they're going to need them both, hopefully, at some point. Next question.
What freshman could make the biggest impact this fall?
Ooh.
Geez, those two edge rushers looked.
Cam Lenhart doesn't look like a freshman.
No, he doesn't. Those guys look like they can make an impact.
Yellen.
Yeah, that's well. Yeah.
I mean, would it be stunning if either one of those guys won a starting job?
No,
they're high on Princewell.
I'd say one of them I think will.
In fact, you almost wonder if that factored into win. Princewell and
maybe
then
they're
Lenhart.
different though.
They're defensive end. I mean, they play off. I mean, they're defensive ends inside the 3-4 or the 3-3-5.
Win
wasn't really a nose, was he?
Yeah.
I mean, he played.
He was.
So he is the backup to Nash.
Yeah, he's a nose.
So he was okay. Well, but he could play off and play on.
They all have to. It just depends on what they're facing and how you're lined up. So I don't like to get into that discussion. But Wynn is a 310 pounder or 320 pounder, and Princewell is probably 240. So those are different players. Princewell's literally said he worked to get up to 239.
I mean, they were working him at linebacker this spring.
Right. Wynn is a 300 pounder. Different. They're asking different things of those guys, Sean.
Next question.
What position group or players is Nebraska hope that they're going to get through the transfer portal?
Offensive line.
I mean, yeah,
defensive line.
Defensive line one.
Defensive.
Yeah, defensive line one, offensive line two.
I mean, trying to find one of those guys.
Yeah, good luck.
It's like, I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds this week. I mean, it's just not easy to do, like I'm going to just go on a diet and lose 10 pounds. Yeah. I mean, that's like what it's like to find one of those
by Monday. Yeah, I know. I mean, again, what I just say about the portal is if you ask a coach that question, Abby, first of all, they'll say, well, you're always looking for big bodies. And then usually the answer is, if there's a good player, we're interested. And he's interested in us, we're interested. Doesn't matter the position. Quarterback would be very interesting. I don't think you'll see it.
Next question.
We saw 2 Big Ten football coaches fired last season. Both were in the middle of the season. Going into this season, which coaches are on the hot seat?
What about Kirk Ferentz?
Geez, I don't think he's on a hot
seat. It's tense there with his son.
Not to the point where it's like a mid-season firing, certainly.
No, he's like the
king of just it's getting dicey there, though. Like
the Indiana coach, I think.
Yeah.
You wonder about Fitzgerald, too. Now, you could come back and say, isn't he like Ferentz, kind of the king? But, man, they're coming off 3-9 and 1-11.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 3-9 and 1.
The portal era has crushed them.
Now they are making a huge investment with all the new facilities there. They have just built that.
Yeah, but if you can't get into school there as a transfer, it's pretty hard. I mean, they don't just let you transfer to Northwestern. You have to meet their criteria to get in there.
So that being said, I guess how big of a priority is it to go get a splash hire when you have an established identity and a face of your program in Fitzgerald that recruits the type of players that you want, and you've made all this investment to helping him? I don't know.
3-9, 1-11.
If they have another year like that,
I think they stick with them though. Like I mean,
Christmas. I mean, how far can you let it go? That's the question.
The thing is, they've been. 3 years ago they won the West, right?
Yes, 3 years ago in the COVID year.
Yeah,
in the COVID year.
So I mean, before that, it was like every other year they were competing to go to the Big Ten championship. So like they're not that far removed from having a really successful.
I guess
season.
what I would say, we're a little more patient with the Northwestern coach than we are with the Nebraska coach.
Well, and they had a left tackle that's going to be a first-round pick. Their quarterback was at South Carolina, and he beat Georgia in the game.
Let's see if Rule throws a 3-9 and 1-11. What we're talking about, right? I mean,
well, the problem with
it's different. It's a different conversation.
More opponent fans go to their games than Northwestern. Like, who are the Northwestern fans is like the bigger question. Like, do they even really have a fan base? You know, that locally all their graduates leave.
Right. So back to the question: Is it Tom Allen? Is he an obvious?
He's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who else would be on that list?
I mean, there's
I mean,
so many
nobody in
new
the East.
coaches.
Like Rutgers is fine.
Right.
Maryland's fine.
What if Michigan houses Ohio State again?
Yeah, it's not mid-season, but well, no, that's a legit question.
I mean,
It is legit.
the
question.
expectations
No,
at
that's
Ohio
legit.
State are so
You
outrageous.
lose 3 straight times to Michigan, and you don't win the Big Ten 3 straight years. Oh, you're in trouble.
Not
what I'm
just
saying.
lose, but get it jammed up you.
Yeah,
I mean,
embarrassing.
it was like a hardball, like
graphic.
paddling. Sorry, guys, if that got
excessive.
they get a
little graphic. Sean.
that rattle the fan base here of the HuskerOnline show.
Yeah, no, Dave would be in trouble. No, I'm not. You
No,
would
I
be.
mean, I kind of said that somewhat tongue in cheek, but I think there's
No,
a
I've
bit
told
of
that
validity to that.
Yeah, I've told that story. I was standing in my kitchen almost in utter amazement when they introduced Day as the head coach. And at the podium, Gene Smith, the AD, puts his arm on his shoulder and says, and we expect to win them all.
Mm.
I was just like, gee, many Christmas.
Man,
Expect to win them all. He said, and we expect to win them all.
that's how
When
Nebraska used to be.
Wisconsin hired the coach that Ohio State probably would have hired, Luke Fickell.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, would that
I
if,
think so.
if Day would have left to the NFL, don't you think Luke Fickell would have been one of the first
Yes.
guys they went after?
Yep. I do. I think that's exactly right.
All right. Final question.
What are the top 3 favorite pizza places in Lincoln?
Isles for me, probably one.
Okay.
Isles is up
That
there.
was gonna be my pick.
Lazari's
Yeah,
too.
I've always been a Lazari's guy.
Isles,
Going back to the college
Lazari's.
days.
I just like Godfather. I really like Godfathers. Can I
Is there
say
any
that?
Godfathers left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there one in
33rd
Lincoln?
33rd, no.
Sipple doesn't cross. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
That's
right. I stand on the north side. That's on the south side, by the way. 30. It's on the south
By the
side.
Starbucks there.
Yeah, it's on the south,
I know where it's
south
at.
side of 33rd. No.
Ramos. I like Ramos.
Oh, sure. Ramos is good. Isles is pretty good. Isles is a great place to go. It's great
Yeah,
atmosphere.
I just never go there because it's so far away.
I mean, you
Yeah,
got to like
that's right around
carve
the
out an extra hour to go there. I mean, that's the problem, but it's worth it.
Oh, it's worth it.
The taco pizza.
Oh,
Mhm.
God, that
the-
sounds good.
The
right now.
tower pizza.
Oh yeah, the tower.
I can't handle the tower thing at my age.
The tower. It's not. It's just hamburger pepperoni with like pepper. I mean, it's nothing like. It's not like a massive pizza. They just call it the Leaning Tower.
Okay.
It's not like some eating challenge here. It's just a hamburger pepperoni pizza
Man versus
with,
food over here.
with some peppers on it. You think it's like tower pizza?
It's just a standard.
That's like a.
Oh,
That's like.
I can't handle the
I just
tower.
want to slice a pizza, a slice and a salad. All right.
Wait, we got to get a third one. You said Ramos?
Ramos. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are my 3.
Okay, we're gonna anger some
Oh.
people with this, but
I mean,
I know,
I do
yeah.
like for fast pizza, Blaze. You can't beat Blaze.
oh
I
God,
still have never had.
I've
it.
never had it.
that's. I mean, it's legit.
Oh wait, Momo's.
Oh,
yeah.
Jiminy Christmas, we forgot.
Sorry,
about that.
Anthony.
Changing my rankings.
Sorry, Anthony.
Yeah,
Ramos, you're off the list.
Sean, say
Sorry.
it again.
Momo's Momo.
Apologize to Anthony. He's your friend.
Oh yeah, no, and
He's your.
I know Anthony. Oh yeah,
He lets
Dear
you
friend.
in. I mean, I can't even go to Momo's.
they're in the 3. They're in my 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's yours, Abby?
I love the Isles. That Leaning Tower.
God, really?
It's
It's
amazing.
too much for Sipple.
Yeah.
Careful, Abby.